the reason why we're potentially more exposed to the conflict in the Middle East, and particularly in the closure and the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. But the Prime Minister's been resolute in terms of trying to de-escalate that conflict. He's at a summit tomorrow with President Macron in Paris to try and reopen the Strait of Hormuz and get that de-escalation in the conflict.
Mark, when you look at the growth figures that have been released, actually that suggests things were maybe turning around and getting better, weren't they?
Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, I'm not sure it's entirely right what Bartolini said about the construction figures. Actually, the construction sector went backwards in the 3 months of February. The other services sector and retail was up.
But nevertheless, 0.5% growth, that isn't what people were predicting.
No, but if you look at the position since the election, there's been almost no growth in the economy. If you look at GDP per head, which is actually the most important measure for whether people feel better off, and it's actually gone backwards. It's slowed down post-election. So for a government that said its number one priority was growth, we haven't seen any. So yes, these figures were better than expected, but they were 1 month figures, or one set of figures. And as you said, the IMF forecast.
But you are quite critical of the government when the figures are bad for 1 month, aren't you?
Yes, but I'm also consistent. I mean, I don't overdo the criticism when they're bad, but I'm not going to. I think you should take one set of figures and go, everything's fine. There's a lot of headwinds facing the country, and I would say the Governor of the Bank of England has taken a cautious approach to waiting to see whether inflation gets passed through. But I mean, Henry's right. We